morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am coming at you from Busch Gardens, Williamsburg for my first time since 2021. Seeing as this is my first time here since 2021, there's some new credits I gotta get on, including one of my most anticipated rides of the whole summer, Pantheon. I am so excited to get on this for my first time and see how it compares to other infinite launch coasters like Maverick and Velocicoaster. I'm also excited to try Big Bad Wolf, the Wolf's Revenge for my first time since that opened this year. Unfortunately, Dark Coaster I'm not gonna be able to get on most likely because I heard a safety recall was needed for all the infinite straddle coasters out there, so Dark Coaster's been closed the past several weeks. I did hear Wavebreaker at SeaWorld San Antonio reopened a few days ago as of when I'm recording this, but I'm not sure if that means anything for Dark Coaster or not. This is also Ryan's first time here since 2021, as well as Ellis's first time ever at this park, so there's gonna be quite a bit that we're gonna be talking about, so make sure you guys watch to the end so you can see all of our thoughts around these rides. We have made it to Pantheon, but unfortunately it is down for technical difficulties right now. I hope to get it open soon because this is my top priority at this park. So I need to get on it in case it only sends a few trains and then goes down for the whole time I'm here. But if anything, I'm first in line for the front row, so hopefully they get it open soon. Quick update, I still have not ridden Pantheon yet, but they moved the train back out onto the transfer track, but they're bringing it back in now, so some tells me we're getting closer to being able to riding this. Well, that didn't last long. It is going back onto the transfer track, so I really hope this doesn't go down to one train ops, but it's looking like that might be the case for today. The op told me Pantheon was going to be down for a very long time, so I'm like, forget it. I guess I'll start off with Apollo's Chariot since I'm right nearby here. I'm really intrigued about this one because I've ridden, I think, every other B&M Hyper in the US since I last rode this. And a lot of people say Apollo's Chariot is the worst one. Now, I do not agree with that because I have Nitro and Raging Bull ranked below this. And I'm really intrigued to see how this one compares to Raging Bull, especially because that also has a pre-drop. Everyone says that's miles better than Apollo's Chariot, which obviously I do not agree with that. So let's see how it's running today. Just started off my day with a front row ride on the original B&M Hyper, Apollo's Chariot. I don't care what people say, that is way better than Raging Bull at Six Flags Great America in every way. I forgot just how fast Apollo's Chariot was. It was pretty fast for a B&M Hyper. There wasn't much airtime on it, but then again, Raging Bull didn't have much either, so it kind of cancels out there. Now I'm gonna go over and ride Griffin. This is a dive coaster I really need to rewrite because I've done Shikra, Valraven, Dr. Diabolical Cliffhanger, and rather Rakshasa since I last rode this. Griffin, I think, was my least favorite of the dive coasters I've done because I didn't get the same force as everyone else says it has, and then my last ride in 2021 was completely odd. It was full headbanging, which I heard is very unusual for that ride. So we're gonna try and find wherever the heck Griffin is, which I can see it right there, so we're getting pretty close to it. On Griffin to the front and the back. I definitely like rather Rakshasa better than Griffin. I would also take Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger over Griffin, but I would take Griffin over Shikra and Valraven. Forces were better than in 2021 and it wasn't rough. Now my brother, when we rode the back, he said he had a weird ride where he got some headbanging, which that's exactly what I had in 2021. So now it's time to give Alpengast a try. And I really hope this ride isn't rough because my first ride in 2021, I had this as my lowest ranked invert outside of Batman and over Texas because I thought it was rough. Let's see if it runs better today. And I saw that there was an open seat in the front row, but it was on the outside, so I decided to get on it just to get on quicker, and ouch, that was a terrible idea. It is one of my least favorite versions of all time. And then the mid-course was bad too, so I had to drop Alpengast a lot in my list because of that. I had it as a mid-tier invert, now I think it's a lower tier invert. I'm gonna do a couple rides on Invader, and then I'm gonna go over and get on Verbolten. Now I only plan to do Verbolten once on this trip because of the drop track. I'm actually not a fan of drop tracks. I don't like drop towers because the one drop tower I rode, Superman Tower Power at Six Flags St. Louis, I didn't like it because I didn't like the butterfly feeling. And I know drop tracks get that feeling. So let's do Invader now and see how it runs.
Now sit back and enjoy your adventure on Invader. Exiting yet. Please lift the harness and exit quickly but carefully to your left. Thank you for riding your adventure on Invader.
Of Invader a little bit ago, and it was about the same as I remembered it being in 2021, so not very good. It reminded me a lot of my not so great rides on Mr. Kimmer's route, so I definitely need to try it with some better room, see if I can get any better every time. One thing I did notice is that before I got on, a whole train of quick queue users got on. So it's very rare that I see skip the line systems take up an entire train, but that's what happens with Invader. Now I'm gonna go over towards Verbolten and get my one ride on that for the trip. I'm gonna ride it with Ellis for the first time. He's never done the drop track, I don't think, and I don't think he even knows about it. So it'll be crazy to get his initial thoughts to it. We run into the elephant in the room, Dar Coaster. This ride closed, which, I mean, it's to be expected. It's been down for several weeks at this point, so it's not the worst thing that could be closed. Unlike a certain other Intamin launch that hasn't opened yet. The Intamin curse must have spread to Verbolten because it was down when we walked by it. Because of that, we went over to Tempesto.
Dispose of trash and lift the comfort collar. Once seated, over your lap.
Tempesto, what'd you think of this thing?
It was intense, dude.
Yeah.
It may be short, but it was still intense.
out of the coasters you've done here, which I think are Alpengeist, Griffin, Invader, this, and Big Bad Wolf, what would you say your favorite one is?
It would have to be Alpengeist so far, is because of the terrain usage.
Yeah.
And I really like that, and I now put it over Banshee.
See, yeah, that is something I do not agree with. I think Banshee is quite a bit better than Alpengeist. It's worth noting you have not done Apollo's Chariot, Loch Ness Monster, Verbolten, or Pantheon yet. So maybe your opinion will change once we get on one of those, which I feel like Pantheon could definitely take the spot of the best ride in the park, which for me that goes to Apollo's Chariot. But wait, oh, Ryan's over there? Oh, so maybe we ought to go take a look at Pantheon and see what's up. Forgot to share this in the video, but I got 2 back row rides on Apollo's Chariot without getting off, and it was solid, but I do prefer the front row on this coaster.
How you gonna do it? One in to win here, rebound. That's your boy to the box. How you doing today?
Yeah, take a picture on it.
That's always better.
Take a picture of it.
You went on the yellow one.
I did Verbolten a while ago, and I gotta say, that drop track is one of my least favorite elements ever. I don't know, I just don't enjoy it at all. The rest of the ride, despite that, was still very solid, so I might take it over Alvin Guys now, I'm not sure. And in case you're wondering, Ellis did not know about the drop track, and yes, he flipped out on it. Now I'm gonna get on the Big Bad Wolf, the Wolf's Revenge, and I have never done a B&F Family Inverse before. I missed Phoenix Rising by, I wanna say around a month last year, so I'm really intrigued to see how this rides, and surprised there's hardly anybody in line for this.
Enjoy your ride on the Big Bad Wolf, the Wolf's Revenge. Enjoy your ride on the Big Bad Wolf, the Wolf's Revenge.
Just got off with a Big Bad Wolf, the Wolf's Revenge. That ride is a blast. Was there a rattle? Yes. Did it take away from the ride? No. That ride was tons of fun. I completely forgot there was onboard audio too, so that was really nice. I definitely enjoyed it more than my ride on Alvin Guys earlier today.
Thank you for hiding
Tried the back row on Big Bad Wolf, and while I thought it was smoother back there, I think I like the front better because the visuals were better in the front, and also I could hear the soundtrack more easily in the front. In the back, I didn't really notice it as much, which I was on the right side of the front and the left side of the back, so maybe just in general the right side is better. For now, I have it at number 3 in the park, which might sound shocking to a lot of you, but then again, I have not done Pantheon, and Alvin Guys gave me a really bad ride earlier. So I'm gonna try it again, and maybe get the front inside to go and see if I can get a better ride. psychopath that he is, he caught a mini crab. What are you doing?
I don't know what species this is, but he's trying to chomp me and it's not really working.
I don't even know how he managed to catch a crab. I mean,
I don't
that's
know
wild.
why it's down here, but down by the Rhine River.
There are like a bunch of like snapping turtles and largemouth bass in the water.
Lots of red-eared sliders and yellow belly sliders.
Yeah.
Line has come to a complete stop, and the bell has sounded. Thank you for arriving, and have a great day at Busch Gardens.
Since I last updated, other than the crab incident, I did Alpenguy's front row inside seat, which wasn't much better than the front outside, unfortunately. It's still a bit of a lower tier end for me. Then I did Invader back row, which is way better than the front row. It had more airtime, and it was quite a bit smoother, which I wasn't expecting. Then I actually did Verboten the second time, and I didn't think I'd do Verboten again, but since Pantheon's closed, I figured I'd want to get my launch fix in, so I figured I might as well do Verboten. One thing I noticed, apparently whatever train I get determines what version of the ride I get. Like, there's a version where the big bad wolf attached to you. That's what I've had twice in my life. Both of my rides came this year with it. There's also a lightning storm, which I got that version in 2021. And then the Spirit of the Forest comes out on version 3, which I have not had that version yet. I was on the red train just now, and I got the wolf. My mom and Ellis were on the orange train. They got the Spirit of the Forest. And then apparently the blue train is lightning, because people behind me told me they got the lightning ending. So, seems like I need to get the orange train for right now in order to get the Spirit of the Forest ending. So, let's see if we can get that real quick and get Verboten ending completion, if you will. Forgot to mention that I did Loch Ness Monster front row in between Invader and Verboten, and I gotta say, Busch Gardens Williamsburg absolutely killed it with the refurbishment. I really love the thematics added in, especially the projection of the Loch Ness Monster on the walls of the Helix, so that was really cool. It was janky, which it is an Arrow, so it is to be expected, but I thought it was very, very solid. I sure hope I don't have nightmares tonight, because I just got the Spirit of the Forest, and that was by far the creepiest one. The voice of the spirit talking to you and all the eerie sounds, it gave me chills. So that was definitely a really cool experience, but I don't know which is my favorite. The wolf ending is sick though. I really like that one, but I haven't gotten lightning on this trip, so I'll probably need to try and get that ending at some point tomorrow probably. But Verboten, this thing's gone way up on my list now that I can actually enjoy the ride despite the drop track being in place. My brother and Ryan said this is number 2 in the park. I can kind of get behind that. This thing's a lot of fun. Just got 2 front row rides on a polished chariot to end out my day, and I gotta say, this thing is a totally different beast when it gets dark out. The speed in the first half of the ride was absolutely insane. The far turnaround, I was graying out. The airtime was solid. It was overall an awesome end to today. And today, I would say it was a pretty good day in general, despite Pantheon not being open all day. My final ride count from the day was 5 on a polished chariot, 3 on Verboten, 2 on Alpengeist, Big Bad Wolf, Griffin, and Invader, and then 1 on Loch Ness Monster and Tempesto. We got 1 more day here at least, so let's jump to day number 2 and see if Pantheon is open. Ladies Ladies and gentlemen, Pantheon is open today, and I just got off my first ever ride. Going in, I thought I would prefer Maverick. I do not. Maverick is not as good as this. As for where this ranks for me, it is easily in my top 20. So, great ride. So glad to have gotten on this finally. In case you were wondering, it doesn't come anywhere near Velocicoaster.
Gods as you conquer Pantheon.
Great America. And America.
Welcome back. Once the ride comes to a dead stop, please. To your left. If you're not riding at this time, please take a step back. During your ride, remain seated, keeping your hands on the lap bar with your arms and legs down. Speed and strength of 5 Roman gods as you conquer Pantheon.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we will be boarding from the exit side first. We will get you on the next train.
Welcome back as you conquer Pantheon. Stay seated, keeping your hands on the lap bar with your arms and legs down and feet on the foot marker at all times. Welcome back. Once the ride comes to a step carefully into the and onto your left. Back against the headrest and feet. The gates are now closing. Please let go of your harness so it may be checked.
Store manager, he went, he talked to him, and then they were just like,
Once the ride comes to a complete stop,
I was like,
the gates are now closing.
I got chosen.
Please let go of your harness so it may be during your run. Remain seated, keeping your hands on the lap bar with your arms and legs down and inside the ride.
beat me up once, and then keep doing these other.
Please let go of your harness so it may be checked for you at this time. Carefully to your right down the ramp, getting all personal belongings left. Riding at this time, please take a step forward with your head against the headrest and feet.
Where was he letting it go?
At all times. Of 5 Roman gods as you conquer Pantheon. Welcome back. To your right down the ramp, taking all personal belongings left in the bins. Thank you for riding Pantheon and enjoy the rest of your day at Busch Gardens.
It beats me up.
At this time, please take a step back. The gates are now closing. Please let go of your harness so it may be checked for you at this time. Remain seated, keeping your hands on the lap bar with your arms and legs down and inside the ride with your head back against the headrest and feet on the foot marker at all times.
Is not permitted on Pantheon. This includes phones, wallets, hats, keys. Anything in your pockets, including cards and tags, are not permitted on Pantheon.
Can you send that to me?
Got 3 more rides on Pantheon, and it continues to blow my mind every single time I ride it. And I did move it into my top 15, and it is at number 15 as I speak. I have it ahead of every single coaster at Six Flags St. Louis, but I did not put it ahead of Thunderbird. This may shock a lot of you that I would put Thunderbird over Pantheon, but you gotta keep in mind, Thunderbird's a sentimental favorite of mine, and I always have so much fun on it every single time. Take it as you will, but for now, I have Thunderbird ranked 1 spot ahead of Pantheon. I was gonna try Apollo's Chariot, but that went down right when I got in line. So I think what I might do is try for Bolton get the Lightning Storm ending because I've gotten the Big Bad Wolf ending and the Spirit of the Forest ending. I've never gotten the Lightning Storm, at least for this year. Now, I did get that in 2021, but I've not gotten it this year yet. So I'm gonna try and get that ending and see how it compares to the other two endings I got, which I don't remember the Lightning Storm ending like at all. Was down when I passed by it, so I'm gonna try Alpengeist again and see if it's any better. My rides up front yesterday weren't good, so let's see if the back ride's any better. Gave Alpengeist a shot in the back earlier, and while it was smoother than my rides up front yesterday, it wasn't that intense. So I definitely think it's not one of the better efforts I've ridden, and I don't get to say it's top tier. Currently getting some shots of Griffin, which you can see in front of you here. And then I'm actually gonna ride it a few more times to see if my rides yesterday were a fluke compared to my rides in 2021. Of the back row on Griffin a bit ago, and it was pretty decent. I was gonna try for Bolton again, but it's been down for a while, and I just saw them take the green train off and put it on one of the transfer tracks. So, Sun tells me they're either going down to 2 trains, or they're gonna swap out the green train for either the orange or yellow train, because blue and red are currently on the tracks. I wonder which of these trains will correspond to the lightning storm ending, because I haven't done this today.
Please lift up your harness and exit carefully to your right, taking all personal belongings left in the bins. And put the harness down over your head and shoulders. If you are not riding at this time, please take a step back behind the red line. The gates are now closing. During your ride, remain seated, keeping your hands. Lift up your harness and exit carefully to your right. Thank you for riding the Big Bad Wolf and enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your ride.
2 rides on Verbolten earlier, and I did actually get the lightning ending on my second ride. I figured out that at least with 2 trains in this circumstance or whatever, each ending comes once every 3 cycles. So I was on the first ride after it reopened. I ended up getting the Wolf. I know yesterday it went Spirit, Wolf, Lightning Storm, because my mom and Ellis were on the train before me, and they got the Spirit of the Forest. I was on the train after them and got the Big Bad Wolf. So that pattern might be the same regardless, but one of the apps did say it was randomized. So I don't know if that's always gonna be the case, but if I managed to figure it out, that'd be pretty impressive. Then I did back row on Big Bad Wolf, which was a lot of fun. Now let's give it a try up front and see how it compares. River cruise before, so I did that 3 times, and now I am taking a lap around the park on a sky ride, and let's see what shots we get from here.
Please lift up on your safety harness and exit quickly.
Forgot to share my thoughts on the front row of Griffin and Big Bad Wolf, but I thought they were both solid rides. told me that this thing is running a lot faster than earlier, and based on the footage I shot, I could tell it was running faster, so I'm very excited for this. Got 2 rides on Pantheon at dark, and it was absolutely diabolical with how fast it was running. Like, diabolical is the only way I can describe that ride. It's just insane. My second dark ride, I was with Ryan in the front row. It somehow sped up even more than my first ride at dusk, which I didn't even know was possible, and it managed to break into my top 10. Where exactly in my top 10? I'm not gonna spoil that. You'll have to wait to find out. And my final ride count from today was 6 on Pantheon, 3 on the Rhine River Cruise, 2 on Verbolten, Big Bad Wolf, Griffin, and the Sky Ride, and then 1 on Alpengeist. As for my final ride count over both days that I was here, I'll review that and share that with you guys right now. My final ride count over both days was 6 on Pantheon, 5 on Apollo's Chariot and Verbolten, 4 on Griffin and Big Bad Wolf, 3 on Alpengeist and the Rhine River Cruise, 2 on Invader and the Sky Ride, and then 1 on Loch Ness Monster and Tempesto. In terms of highlights, Pantheon blowing my expectations out of the water. Really, just about every coaster in that park was better than I remembered it being, with the only exceptions being Alpengeist, because that wasn't as good as I remembered it being. It was still good to get back to this park, even though Dark Coaster was not open for us. And before I click off this video, please be sure to leave a like if you haven't done so already. Be sure to comment what you enjoyed about this video, and be sure to share with someone else you may know. If you're new to this channel like we saw, please consider subscribing for more content like this. I'd appreciate you subscribing and turn the bell on so you get notified every time I upload a new video. I also have an Instagram account for the pictures I take when I visit parks, so be sure to check me out there as well via the link in the description. For my next vlog, it'll be from King's Dominion, so stay tuned for that, and until then, I'll see you later.